Hello and welcomes everyone. AnthWolf here, bringing you a new Let's Play series, as you can no doubt tell from the title of the video, or from the background image I may be using for this introduction. This of course is even more Star Wars The Old Republic. We're going to be doing a replay of the Jedi Knight story arc, and yeah, here we are once more. I recently had a comment, well I say recently, in the past few months I had a comment from one Lucian Jaeger, who had just gone to the end of my replay of the Sith Warrior series, asking if I would consider doing what he called a duelists run, where I'd play one of the playable classes of course, and focus mostly on using various lightsaber skills, or skills that would require physical contact such as the Sith Juggernaut's backhand, rather than focusing on using force powers. And I have taken a break from Star Wars The Old Republic. I've recently had comments asking if I would return to my light-sided Sith Inquisitor, which I did try to start recording this time last year. And I got so far in the series and I lost motivation. I can only apologise for that. It's another series that's going to end up sitting on hiatus and may disappear from the channel at some point since I'm not going to continue it. But that is that, this is now. But yeah, I've been inspired to replay some Star Wars The Old Republic of late. Over the past couple of months, there's been a new expansion. I never heard much about it, a few people did comment on it, called Onslaught. And that has been brought to my attention. It has garnered some of my interest while I've been playing other games. And so here we are. And also trying to incorporate that duelists run, like a lightsaber only conduct. I'll see how I can stick to that. So I'm thinking yes, we'll play as a Jedi Knight, as I haven't yet really taken any of the Galactic Republic classes into any of the expansions. So I've always been meaning to take a Republic class into the expansions. The Jedi Knight, my original Jedi Knight, Valeris, was meaning to go into such. I quite enjoyed her playthrough, a great deal actually, but unfortunately technical issues occurred, and I've mentioned it a few times in other series. I got so upset I kind of just put it to one side and I won't say forgot about it, but it annoyed me enough that I didn't want to return to the series. Again, it happens. I'm only human. Either way though, here we are once again with more Star Wars The Old Republic. To set the scene for anyone who isn't aware, this is a game, an online MMORG, set about 3,500 years prior to the movies most people are more knowledgeable about, if I can find the words to speak. That would always be good. So yes, it is actually set, I think, 200 years after the events of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. From what I can recall, it's been a while. And I'm sure if I get things wrong, people will be quite happy to correct me. But no, here we are once again. This is a time of galactic unrest. 10 years prior, an uneasy truce was declared between the two major factions in the galaxy, the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic. There is of course a little bit of neutral space between the two major factions here, but obviously they are both sending diplomats to try and legally sway worlds to their point of view, and then also not so legally sending agents in to destabilize the governments in control and such. As I say, 10 years have passed. The Jedi, since we are going to be playing as a Jedi Knight, did lose their temple on the Galactic Republic's homeworld of Coruscant. It was bombed during the sacking of Coruscant, and most of them have withdrawn to their rediscovered homeworld of Tython, where we'll discover where we'll be playing. It is a prologue world, while the likes of the Trooper and Smuggler start on Old Mantell. Ooh, I struggled for the name there for a moment. That's a good start. But no, this is going to be what I consider a long Let's Play once again. What that means is, apart from not only completing the major class missions when we visit various worlds, we will be looking to complete quite a few, well, I wouldn't say all, but I'd say quite a few of the side missions and exploration missions that are available. One or two I may not do for a kind of roleplay reason, but we'll cross that bridge when those quests come up. I'll see how I feel about them and how they would play into our character and make a decision at that point. I haven't got anything I consider that way right now off the top of my head. It's a kind of what-if situation for me. But no, yeah, this is going to be what I consider a long Let's Play. We might even look into doing a few space missions, because why the hell not? We also are going to be using a set of adaptive armor, which you're mostly all familiar with if you've seen any of my previous series. Adaptive armor can level up with our character by switching out the item modifications. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. What we're going to do is get ourselves into character creation. We are going to be playing on the Darth Malgus European server once again. I'm not a great fan of the new, I suppose, login screen music that's come with Onslaught. That's my personal opinion, which is why I'm using the original music as the background for this part of our little introduction here. But we'll get ourselves set up in character creation, and then we'll get ourselves onto Tython. The video lengths could vary quite a bit, depending on how I'm recording this series. This first recording is using some of the old software I have, whereas future content will be recorded with OBS. And I may even live stream some of this series in the future. The first prologue world, the first few videos I'll just record to get a feel of how I feel about replaying the Jedi Knight, and then we'll go forwards from there. Either way, we'll get ourselves into character creation, like I said, and we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll get ourselves underway. So, I'll see you in just a moment. And welcome's back, everyone. So here we are in the character creation or character selection screen. As I say, we're going to be playing on the Darth Malgus European server, and as I probably mentioned previously, we do have our legendary status. I'm completing the main story arcs on all 8 available playable classes. But here we are once again, going to create our character. So, I still have my level boosts from back from Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne. Please try and ignore the text giving you an idea of what's been going on, because we're going to be starting right at the very beginning, back to level 1. So we get to choose our allegiance. We have the Galactic Republic, founded 20,000 years ago by explorers and diplomats. The Galactic Republic is a vast democracy led by the Supreme Chancellor. The Republic is a chaotic amalgam of many worlds, corporations, and species, which often clash with one another. So, during the 10 years of peace we've had since the Treaty of Coruscant has been signed, well, I don't imagine much has been gotten done thanks to all the red tape through the democracy they so claim to have. Up until a galactic threat approaches a particular planet's governance, they may not be wanting to do something apart from when it's in their interest. And then of course you have the Sith Empire, a rigid militaristic society where aliens are subjugated and the Sith Lords are supreme. The Empire is ruled by the mysterious, all-powerful Sith Emperor. To Imperial citizens, power is everything, and only the strongest ascend to glory. What they don't mention is that the Sith Emperor has been somewhat in recluse. He has agents which make his will known, but the day-to-day governance of the Empire is through a body known as the Dark Council, made up of 12 of the most powerful Dark Lords of the Sith, who each have their own sphere of influence. But they tend to get together and decide what action should be taken when major events are, well, actually going on, and what decisions may be needed to be made. But for this playthrough as a Jedi Knight, we're going to be playing as a member of the Republic. And now we get to choose not only our basic class of the Jedi Knight, but we get to choose our advanced class as well. This didn't used to always be the case. You used to have to choose your advanced class when you left the prologue world, but that has changed over the years. We're going to be playing as a Jedi Guardian, since my previous Jedi Knight Let's Play, Valeris was a Jedi Sentinel. I was considering trying the Sentinel again, since we're going to be trying a lightsaber-only conduct, for the most part, hopefully. But there's a particular discipline tree we might go down as a Jedi Guardian, so yeah, that kind of works out well. The Jedi Guardian is a wall between the good people of the Republic and their enemies. The Guardian stands firm in the face of overwhelming odds and dares opponents to attack. Guardians have 2 DPS discipline trees, as well as a tanking discipline tree, if you would like to tank during the dungeons and raids. But we're probably going to be going down one of the DPS trees, but we can talk about that more once we actually get into the game. There are various species you can come from. They've also introduced the Nautolan race, which is interesting, but I'm not leaning towards playing as a Nautolan in this playthrough. I have been asked if I would consider it, and I did play through the character creation prior to starting this series, and it just didn't jump out at me. I mean, they do speak Galactic Standard, but it's not for me, unfortunately, I have to say. We're going to be playing as a human, by far the most common species in the galaxy. They are versatile and the norm against which other species are judged. If we were playing as a member of the Empire, if we weren't playing as a human or a pure-blooded Sith, there may be some dialogue where we would be actually looked down on for being an alien. Because that's just the way their society is, well ran. We're also going to be playing as a male character.
May the Force be with you.
The male Jedi Knight, of course, is voice acted by David Hayter, who I know most of all from the Metal Gear Solid series, but he has done a fair bit of voice acting work in his time. So, give me a moment. We're just going to adjust the sliders here to something I'm happy with. Hair color.
A Jedi's limits must always be put to the test.
Yeah, I think that's how I want it. Obviously, it shows you some default Jedi Knight gear. This, I think, is the Resolute Guardian's armor set. It is a set I have unlocked in the cartel market in my collections, so we might actually wear this armor set with or without dyeing it to make it a bit more unique from the basic colouring. There is another armor set I may choose to wear, but at least we can adapt the item modifications on the fly. We'll see how the story progresses and see how I feel. So, one thing before we give this character a name, and before we go into the opening scroll, the Jedi Knight, all the playable classes have their little bit of story. I'm going to read through this, feel free to skip ahead if you so want. it kind of sets the scene on what a Jedi Knight is all about, and where we might find ourselves as the story goes on. So, let us begin. Valiant, determined, guardian of peace. A symbol of hope in dark times, the Jedi Knight stands for the legacy of the Jedi Order. More than 20,000 years of protecting the Republic and keeping the peace across the galaxy. Though Jedi Knights have served as generals, guerrilla fighters, and warriors for generations, their legendary combat prowess faces its greatest test during this age. Through years of disciplined training and meditation, the Jedi Knight hones body and mind into perfect harmony. Combining the foresight of the Force with unrivaled reflexes and practiced physical precision, the Knight turns combat into an art form, gracefully executing acrobatic feats in tandem with elegant lightsaber tactics. A source of inspiration to allies and intimidation to adversaries, the Knight's presence is welcome in any confrontation. The Order's long history of fighting for justice has earned the trust of countless friends and the hate of innumerable enemies. Few, though, are foolish enough to challenge a seasoned Jedi Knight unless they have the skills and technology to even the odds. In regards to facing the dark side, the Jedi's dark counterparts scored many victories during the war, expanding their empire and putting the Republic on the defensive. Since the Treaty of Coruscant, the Sith have consolidated their military might, even while the Jedi have withdrawn the Tython, a move that's been looked at with suspicion by many of the Republic's politicians. Nevertheless, the war is far from over, and the Jedi Knight's resolve remains firm. With unwavering allegiance to the Republic and the light side of the Force, the Jedi Knights fight with valiant determination, wading into the thick of any battle to protect freedom and democracy, and to hold fast against those who would oppose it. No matter how dire the circumstances may become, the Jedi Knight trusts the Force and keeps a cool head. Knowledge and self-control are critical components of wise decisions, and emotional and mental clarity are an absolute necessity. Maintaining focus allows the Knight to rely on intuition. A right mind leads to right action. For many, the Jedi Knight is the guardian of a precious dream, a dream of peace, a dream of justice, and a dream of a brighter future. The fate of the galaxy depends upon the Knight's ability to keep this dream alive. Whew, and I can inhale. So, one last thing to mention. How I'm going to be playing this game. Valeris, my previous Jedi Knight, I don't believe I kind of focused her more as a pure light side character. It was more seeing how the situation played out. Not every decision I make in this playthrough, similarly, is not going to be a pure light side choice, nor is it going to be a pure dark side. I haven't quite decided how my character is going to deal with things that do occur, the situations that develop, but hopefully that will keep it more interesting for me. I have a couple of ideas of which way I want to go with certain interactions, but we'll just have to see what the future, how the series plays out. And yeah, just thought I'd mention that. Either way, the name of this character, I always like using V's. There is a reason for it, but we can talk about that later. Maybe. Is going to be Venton Koliss. Okay. Right. As soon as I hit play, we're going to be going into the opening scroll with what would be the John Williams theme. Unfortunately, it would get me a copyright claim. I mean, I don't monetize these videos anyway, but I'll probably substitute it nonetheless, just in case it ends up muting the entire introduction video, which has happened in the past. Either way, I will see you when we land on the world of Tython. I'll see you in just a moment.
Welcome to Tython, Padawan. Everyone at the temple is looking forward to meeting you. Your former masters praise your combat skills. They say you're becoming an expert duelist.
I'm sorry. I don't think we've been introduced.
Sorry. Darren Weller, watchman of the training grounds. I greet new arrivals, show them around. The Jedi Council will assign you a new master to oversee your final trials. You'll be tested in ways you can't imagine. But when you leave Tython, you'll know what it means to be a Jedi Knight. More importantly, you'll know yourself.
I'm eager to face these trials. Where do I start?
There's a speeder here that will take you to... Hang on. Getting an emergency signal. Flesh Raiders? Armed with blasters? He must be mistaken.
What are these things? Animals?
Flesh Raiders are a species of hostile natives. They're smart enough to use tools and violent beyond reason. I'm sending every able-bodied Jedi down to the Padawan training grounds right away. Especially you.
What makes me any better than the others?
You've been trained for dangers like this. I know I can count on you. Take the speeder outside to the training grounds, push back the Flesh Raiders, and find out if they're really using advanced weapons. Go. I'll catch up with you after I alert the Jedi Council. May the Force be with you.
Okay. Welcome to Tython, everyone. Ooh. The game's actually remembered some of my key bindings, seemingly. Lovely. So yes, as soon as we've arrived, some violent natives are attacking some of our fellow Padawan down at an area known as the Knolls, which is just to our east. This is the entirety of the area of Tython we will be exploring. So we'll be spending a bit of time exploring each region. But that will be all for next time. In previous series, my part 2 would be going over the UI, various menus like the inventory, the character sheet here. Unless people ask, I'm probably going to skip over a lot of the explanation. Maybe very briefly, like the red bar's your health. You have focus as your resource. You know, very brief things like that. Otherwise, between this video and the next video, I will do a few background things, get rid of all of my unread mail. I'm going to transfer some items over from another character. And then we'll be looking at the various discipline trees and talking about which one I'm going down and why. And then we'll get ourselves down to the Knolls. But that's all for next time. Thank you all for joining me in this introduction video, and I hope you'll enjoy the series going forward. Feel free to comment if you so desire. And yeah, as I say, hopefully I'll see you for more into the future. Until next time now, take care. Bye bye now.